Turn your phone off too.
Greetings. Good evening. This is day 3 of Ignite Your Soul Connection. Yay! I don't know if you've been with us for the last 2 sessions, but we have been having an amazing time this week. We've had some great information from our Master Force certified coaches, and we have really learned a lot about taking authority and taking control and actually discovering the power of our own health and well-being. So tonight we continue in that same vein, but the difference is we're going to actually we're going to take it a little bit deeper. We're going to go on the inside and really begin to have a conversation about what it means to heal emotionally. So we have 3 executive coaches from Master Force who in their own right, before they ever came to Master Force, actually knew how to do substantial work in the areas of healing and coaching and counseling and therapy and all of that good stuff, right? And ministry, right? A lot of what we do is ministry because we minister to the soul of our community. But because we're not church based, some people miss that little tidbit about us. But that's okay. We know who we are. So I want to welcome you here and just thank you for taking the time to be here with us. As we do this work, you're going to discover some very amazing things about yourself, and you probably discovered that by the stories that we tell, the things that we share. And if anything should come up for you, we're going to ask you to know that you are in a safe space, and that if you need to reach out to us, we have coaches on the other side that are available. So there's a couple of different places where you can make a comment. There's the Facebook fan page, and it's called Ignite Your Soul Connection. So if you actually go in there and make a comment, you can just tell someone, I need to talk to somebody. And we'll get somebody to you. We have a couple of other executive coaches on the other side that are available. And then also you'll be getting our contact information at the end of the show, and we'll be able to support anyone. We're very qualified to make sure that you're okay through the depths of this conversation, right? There's the birthday girl. Hey, Ija, welcome. So we want to go ahead and introduce to you the amazing speakers that we have with us. Facilitators, speakers, master teachers, coaches. I mean, the juice is on tap tonight. So who I want to introduce to you first are probably, I don't even know how to describe them because they are like, wow, it's like we've lived lifetimes together already. And when we discovered ourselves and found each other, yeah, it's no letting go, but it's also been some deep teaching that we've brought to each other, and we've found a community inside ourselves, even though this couple really does an amazing work. So who I'm talking about is Timothy and Jaquay Glenn, and they've been with us for the last 4 years on Ignite Your Soul Connection, so we get all giddy. So Timothy and Jaquay, thank you for being here. Go ahead and tell us a little bit more about you and Light and your community, and welcome.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, it's on me? Yeah. All right. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
First of all, let me thank you all for allowing us the space to share what we do every day, and we're very grateful for that. Thank you so much. Moot, Icha, thank you all so much for the supporting work that you have shared with us. I mean, we could not be where we are today without your contributions.
Sure.
So thank you all for well, first of all, we are Leadership Institute for Transformation and Empowerment. That work is a ministry, and we believe ministry is about service. And we provide a service to assist mankind in dealing with the darkness and shadows within themselves. Now, this work actually came from the church. We started as a church, and we found it became increasingly difficult to manage people's behaviors. And and that's what we're called to do as ministers, is to alter behavior. And we found out no matter what we preached and how much we tried to scare you, people did what they wanted to do anyway. Sometimes,
yep. Yes, they did.
Yeah, unexpectedly. It's not like they planned to do it. Something just showed up, and they don't know where it came from. So we began to go deeper in the work to figure out where is this energy coming from, and how can we better serve that aspect of humanity. Mm-hmm. So that's how Leadership Institute for Transformation and Empowerment came about. Mm-hmm. And it's a work that I'm so grateful that the universe gave us the space as a couple, because our own shadow work was in play. Yeah. The shadow work of our friends, mm-hmm. the shadow work of our mentors, mm-hmm. the shadow work of people we meet every day on the street, yeah. the shadow work of the clients that come to us. So you can imagine the work can be a little overwhelming, but we are eternally grateful for the universe allowing us this space. I'm thankful for our souls that chose this path and chose you to be a part of it.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yay! You know, it's just natural. We naturally attracted each other, so I am just as grateful. Mm-hmm. And now let us introduce Icha. And you know, what's so exciting about this is Icha's solar return. What? So, you know, it's such a huge energy to have you here sharing your celebration, your universal juice, because the whole universe is celebrating you, and you're choosing to be here with us. So, Icha, thank you, thank you, thank you. Tell us what's going on with you today. Can you hear me, Icha? Where did you go? I can't hear you if you're talking, Icha. Did she disappear?
It looks frozen.
She looks frozen?
Mm-hmm.
Her face does look frozen. Oh my goodness, we got all excited and she can't even hear us.
Okay.
Okay, she'll go back. Now, here's the thing about Icha. When we use Google and any of the different instruments with Google, she is the guru. We go to her. So she'll be able to help us figure out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. There you go. Okay, I told him you would figure it out.
Oh, girl, now you already know. Stop playing.
Oh, look how pretty. Hello. Hello.
Hello. I'm blissed out. I'm blissed out. I think I have to not move around too much because my camera is getting a little overwhelmed with all of my energy. Right, yes. I gotta take it a little slow.
We had that with Lady Reese last night, so you know you fiery characters have to really bring it down.
Absolutely.
You got 3 fires.
Right, and I'm a double fire sign at that. So you know how we do it. Shemsu-t has a lot of Sagittarius in her chart too.
Yes, I do, but I don't put out flames like you guys do. You guys flame it up and put it out and turn it on.
I know, right? Can you see the fire I have burning in the background?
Oh, yeah, like you needed that. Okay, very cool. So, Icha, you know, we were just saying we wanted you to tell us a little bit about the what you're doing here tonight in celebration. Why would you choose to even be here with us on your solar return?
I'm so grateful that you asked me that question. I feel like you and I are on a really cool volleyball team, and you set the ball so I could just come in and spike it. That's how I like to get down. But, one of the reasons why I'm here tonight is because I recognize that I am the gift. I am the gift. So in that regard, with it being the anniversary of my circuit around the sun, meaning to some people my birthday, solar return, whatever you would like to call it, to be able to share the gift that I am with humanity is a great gift for me as well. and it helps me to stay grounded, and it helps me to stay present to that I am. I am. I am a remarkable contribution to the world. I am the essence of my mother's and father's love right here on my
Wow.
face. See, I made it myself with my mom and dad. And and I'm man, it's a cosmic gift to be present and to do something like this. So literally for me, this is my birthday party. This is my solar return party. This is how I get down. Y'all already know this how I party.
Very cool. And you know, I know who we are. The four of us. Wow. I asked Kiana last night. I said, "Do you think I can handle having 3 Master Force executive coaches on the call at one time? I mean, what I could probably just sit back and
Right?
chill, right?"
All right. You better get ready now.
Okay. Well, get ready. I mean, the audience is in for a treat. So with that being said, let's go on into hand. I had somebody say on my Facebook page today, well, what is shadow work? So Timothy, why don't you go ahead? You were starting to talk about it, Timothy or Jaquay, because we each and I, we have the undertones, right? You're going to see some of our shadow work tonight.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Go ahead and give us
Well,
a definition. What is shadow work?
Okay. Well, for us, shadow work is the parts of ourselves that we are mostly unaware of until it shows up unexpectedly. Shadow work is how we engage the process of uniting and making peace between that which is conscious and that which is unconscious. So, can everybody still hear
So
me?
you're gonna go high with it, huh?
Oh,
You gonna go
okay,
high with
okay.
it?
Can everybody still hear me first? I want to make sure. Okay, everybody can still hear me. Okay, well, I don't want to go too fast, too high with it, but it is basically, you think about yourself and you look in the mirror and all of the things that you are ashamed of, embarrassed about, or you resist seeing within yourself that we call the shadow.
As
And
well as the things that you admire in others.
absolutely.
Right. So you have the shadow and then you have the golden shadow. So you have those people that you admire, you look up to, and you go, oh my God, I wish I had that. That's your shadow too. You have the light and you have the dark shadow. So with that being said, what shadow work is it's really claiming your darkness and claiming your light and integrating it back into yourself and becoming one with those things and allowing those gifts to push you and nourish you where you need to go in life as well.
Absolutely. A lot of people believe that the shadow is something you must confront. Then you're underestimating the power of the shadow, because it's not going to make itself known that you could even point it out to see where to go. That's not the nature of the shadow. The shadow is not something that you can confront, which is to aggressively engage in. The shadow is something you must romance, take on a date, show love to, court. And then the shadow, once it learns to trust the process, it will reveal small nuggets of itself as it believes that you can handle. It won't reveal anything that it knows consciously you can't handle. Therefore, we find the shadow in how we interact with other people. They may provoke something in us, and then that which we project onto another or judge on another, that is also shadow work.
And another way to find your shadow is through your own projections. The things that you can't stand by other people, or the fears that you have, the insecurities that you have, all of those things, those projections, the shadow projects onto others. So we believe that our relationships are our biggest tool in learning about our shadow projections. So in your relationships, the issues you have with another, look at those, write those down. I do a thing every year, especially around New Year's. I write down all the people that work with me in light, and and all the things that they do that get on my nerves. And I literally do a mind map, and I break it down, and I do that to claim my shadow. It also goes along with soul retrieval, but that's another subject. But
So Jaquay, maybe that's something that you can step us through right now that everybody can do an activity with, because that sounds like a wonderful end of the year thing to do. So can
Right.
you just step us through it a little bit slower so we can all catch up with you? Because that's great.
Okay.
I
So,
love that. When you said soul retrieval, you speak in my language. Let's go. I'm
but
ready.
I'm not talking about the soul retrieval.
We're
We're
not
not
doing song right now, each of me and you gonna talk
no,
about it later.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, don't bump it up too quickly. We're talking about.
So, okay.
So the mind map that I do is
We're staying on the shadow map.
I'm
The
not
shadow
doing
map.
this
That's
all
what I'm.
tonight. This
okay.
foolishness has got to stop.
So the mind map I do is I take a sheet of paper and I draw a circle in the middle of the paper. You can see that. And then I draw other little
Okay.
circles. And in the middle of the circle is me. So I'm putting me in there.
Okay.
And then I draw. And I also like doing this because, it uses both sides of the brain. We're using logic. We're using our right side with creativity. We're bringing it, and making it whole, making it balanced in the way we perceive the situation. So I do that, and I draw other little circles, and I put people names in it that I've really had issues with, or any type of things, or things going on with them. And I take that, and I write down the issue in the bubble or next to the bubble that I'm having with them, right? So then I pull out my journal, and I take each person's name and I write that down. I write my feelings about it, and then I ask myself the following question: where in my life am I exhibiting this behavior? And I'm not going to look at this
Wow.
with a rigid mindset, because a lot of times we like to look at things with mirrors, and the mirror work really helps with the shadow. So when we look at it, sometimes we can get kind of rigid in our thinking. We're like, I don't do that like that. So that's when you have to look at the energy behind that. You have to look at what is the energy behind it. So if a person does something out of fear, then I have to go find where I'm fearful and how I can react like that. Once I do that, I go through the process of releasing the fear, taking responsibility for the creation, going through Ho'oponopono, because if I'm experiencing it, then it's meant for me to experience that, and I have created, and it is part of the soul's plan, as Isha mentioned on Monday. And I integrate that back into my experience. And normally when you do this type of shadow work and integration, the things that person did to annoy you, you step into a space of compassion, and it doesn't annoy you anymore. You understand. So now you can relate, and you know how to talk to that person. You know how to work things out with that person. And that's what I do with each individual here in life.
So I'm requesting, Kiana, you can hear me. So can you recreate that diagram on a clear sheet of paper that Jaquay did, and then take a picture of it and maybe post it in the group with those 3 or 4 points that she gave, so that people can really use this for this time of year. I think that I'm going to do this during my my solstice time, right? That's a perfect 4 days, because you're going in anyway, so you might as well, look on deep within yourself. So thank you. So go ahead. I just wanted to make sure that we had that going.
Yeah, but that's basically it. I do once I finish this, usually all issues are resolved. I have an understanding of myself more. I recently went through that process with one of my best friends, Nicole. We had an issue a couple of years ago. I've been working on this for years, and
Yes.
in the situation, one day it just clicked. And I said to myself, when I saw it, and I saw Nicole, it made me think of Nicole. I hope she'll mind me saying her name. And I said, that's why that occurred. And I understand why she was in that mindset, and she just wanted to be loved. And I just want to be loved. And it had nothing to do with me. And I was able to release that, and I was able to go back to her and say, I haven't been able to understand your reaction in this particular situation in forever. I said, but I got it, and I wanted to come to you and tell you that I got it, and I realized it had nothing to do with me, honey. You just wanted to be loved. And she said, that's it. And it was just a beautiful moment, an expansion of my soul for myself.
So, so Jaquay so Kiana is asking, what's in the middle? So the middle is just your name, right?
Yeah.
But then what you're looking at is how you see those other people in your life. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative.
Right, right. So either one. I've even done it. Oprah used to be my role model, like tough. So I've even done it with Oprah, and I went in and I saw all the things that I loved about her, and I had to go and find it within myself. So
Yes.
You got the golden shadow and you have the dark shadow. So with the darkness, I integrate that, and with the golden, I had to integrate that and realize I am already there. I don't have to look up to her. She just reminded me of the divinity that's already inside of me.
Oh, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So then now, what happens with people who are not as they're not as introspective as you are. So they're not, asserting themselves, doing that inside work. What happens when their shadows show up and they're not ready to deal with it?
Well, one thing
Or they don't even know or they don't even know it's a shadow.
Absolutely. First of all of those circles that extend from the me in the diagram, all those have my name in it, I'm sure, except for one. It's all good. I can live with that.
You have your own chapter here.
But you
he has his own book, probably.
Right.
Usually with those people, the first incident, we usually don't have much success for them to see clearly what it is. It's a cycle of it happening over and over and over and over until they see, okay, I can see the sequence here. Now,
there's a pattern. Yeah.
Yes. So the shadow has to be established in patterns.
Yes.
It has to. It takes many years to. First of all, you got to have a keen eye. The shadow is not. Once again, it's not going to make itself clear and visible. Okay, you're going to have to be very patient and allow it to come forth. Once, if it gets so suppressed that it can no longer stay in hiding, it comes out through projection. And over these cycles, we look at the cycles, and then we can clearly show them the rhythm of this shadow, and it makes it a little bit easier to accept. But denial is very quick in the first two cycles, first three sometimes. But as time goes on, those cycles can be easily explained, easily shown. Now, whether they accept it or not, that's up to the individual.
Yeah.
It is our job to show them the shadow and introduce that shadow to their self, and so they can integrate that on their own speed.
And one thing that we've noticed with, especially with clients, that if they're not willing to take responsibility in the first place, they're not going to see it anyway. Absolutely. So that's when we have to get use wisdom. And we do this thing where I like to go around the ego and come around smacking in the back of the neck. So usually I have to walk them like all the way around and then hit them in the back.
Let's let everybody know that you guys are in the South. You're in Memphis, Tennessee. So walking up and smacking people upside the head and the back of the neck is a natural.
Don't do that in Chicago. Don't do that in Chi-Town.
No, of course not.
You can't come to the Chi-Town doing that, okay?
I'm not even going to say Chirac. Oh, I said it. Sorry.
No.
But yeah, we have to walk them. Usually we have to walk them around the entire process to get them to see, okay, I can see what you're saying now. Maybe I do need to look at this differently. It just takes that one aha moment when they realize, okay, I can kind of see what you're saying. And once they give us that opening, we can kind of go in and lay it out for them. So, yeah, you have to be willing to take responsibility first.
Any coach that wants to get involved with this type of work, it takes patience.
Lots.
It takes patience every single day. It takes being gentle with yourself. First of all, the approach that we use is based off of Carl Jung's work in dealing with the shadow. That's how we deal with it. And Carl Jung, I was talking to my wife, Carl Jung was a bad brother because he could engage his own shadow and he knew how to invite his own shadow and deal with it personally. Most of us are not grown up like that. With me, I need someone outside of myself to observe me while the shadow has possessed me.
We need a moot and an eacher.
We need a moot and an eacher to be able to be on the sidelines and say, okay, Timothy, okay, Jaquay, the little girl, the little boy has brought the shadow out to play. Okay, so let's deal with that. Now, when we're in the space of our clients, hey, we're Superman and Superwoman because our shadow is not active as we observe those that we're here to serve. Now, even if their shadow is activating ours, we can still hold the space for another. But when coaches try to engage their own shadow, once again, I think we underestimate the shadow's power, the shadow's cunning ability to deceive you into thinking you're seeing something that's not there.
Oh, man.
So, you know, here comes the stories, here comes the ideas of our pain that is coming up for us, and we become possessed and don't even know it.
It's a possession, definitely.
And it's okay to everybody gets possessed sometime by the shadow. You know, somebody coming to me, okay, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm full of light, and I tell them that ain't the only thing you're full of. Right. I'm not going to use that language on here. I understand that this is probably a family show. So, but you're full of something else, you know, so that's okay. It takes patience. It's not easily seen. And I have to remind myself of that when people project their shadows onto me, because I know I project mine onto them, especially those we love the most. Those we love most, we are more comfortable in projecting our shadows on. So, you know, this lady here, obviously, I love dearly, but she pays a price for that love. And that price is sometimes me projecting my mother issues on her. And when I do that, she has to remind me, I'm not mom, I'm your wife. Okay, well, I may not want to hear that. I may want to hear that. I don't know what space I'm in, but it's her job to keep me sober. You know,
it's not.
It's your job to keep me sober.
It's my job.
You don't like that job, but you signed up for it.
It's my job to keep me sober.
You know, I'm so grateful that you guys are bringing this up, because I remember, you know, in my 20s, I went through one abusive relationship after another. I mean, you know, my husband was abusive. I got with a guy that was abusive. My friends were abusive, you know. And when I finally did talk to somebody who was a therapist, their first question was, well, you probably grew up in a house where you saw your mother beat up by your father. You know, no, I did not. You know, so now I'm trying to process this inside of what they're used to, the therapy that they're used to dealing with. You know, what's the clean picture? And it took years, because nobody could figure it out, but it took years for me to really see that my shadow was self-abuse. Like I was abusing myself. And what I was projecting was the other person was abusing me, right? So that energy was attracting itself. And I literally had to go back to my exes and say, listen, I apologize, because you literally walked into my video. You know, you showed up because that was the universe giving me an opportunity to see that, wait a minute, you have some unresolved issues from your childhood. And in my childhood, I grew up around some very aggressive and abusive and angry women. They were women that abused me every day. And I had to go back inside of that work, and the work that really made a difference for me in doing that work, in dealing with those issues. The book was called The People of the Lie by M. Scott Peck, and it's on the healing of human evil. And I remember being 23 years old and reading that book and thinking, wow, you know, I'm really messed up here. But that was my shadow, you know, revealing itself, showing me, you know, you have some deep hurt that you have to deal with, and, you know, it's yours. You can't say that it's been put on you. Does that make sense? Because that's how we've been taught. We've been taught to be victims, and we're not.
Yes.
Well, Shemsu, can I really say something to that? I'm so grateful that you're sharing this right now, because one of the things that I have been sitting inside of is the conversation around this shadow work, and then also the conversation of really reclaiming those different parts of us that get lost, like you said, when we have those childhood experiences and then we make up that we're a victim of them. So I know sometimes when I've been working with clients, whether it be a part of themselves or whether it be a part of their parents, it's challenging for them sometimes, especially if the parent has transitioned, for them to see that this person has, like Jaquay and Timothy said, a golden and a dark shadow.
Yes.
And so inside of that, that means they're a whole person.
Yep.
So even in as much as they loved me, they were dealing with some things on their own. So being able to really acknowledge what's so without having to add anything to it, make it wrong or anything, but being able to acknowledge what's so. Because one of the things that you said that's very true, and a lot of people, I know if you feel this way, please defriend me immediately. A lot of people feel like beating their children is not abuse.
It is.
It is. So if you feel like I'm the airy fairy one, click delete. It's all right, because I know that one of the reasons why I was put here to be a mother of all children, I don't have children of my own, is so I could be an advocate for children. People can discount me if they would like to. That's okay. But I will advocate for our children until there is no more cosmic breath left in my body. When you do that to children, that is abuse. So for us to be able to clearly say, I know my mother loved me. I know she did. I know she did the best that she could. I am a magnificent being because of my mother and father. And I know that in those places and spaces, abuse did occur. I am not a victim. I can rescript it and tell my story now from an empowered standpoint. And it is vital that we get down to the brass tacks and say what it is. Because you ain't going to be able to get out of nowhere unless you could tell the GPS right where you at. Right where you at. So right where I am at is I'm dealing with the fact that I know that I was smacked in the mouth, so I learned how not to tell the truth.
Yeah.
I learned how not to say what's so for me, because if you say what's so at the wrong time, boop.
Yes. And you get
That's
a
EFT on the other side. That's what that EFT does on the other side. A lot of people think we're going to talk about it later. EFT is so weird. Yeah, it's not weird, because you use it when you want to make an impression on the cellular, magnetic, and the vibratory structure in the body. When you apply pressure to those different meridians, it makes a difference. So when you get popped in the mouth, you ain't going to speak the truth easily anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's very vital that we be able to separate those pieces out, recognize that everyone here is a divine being. Okay? So in recognizing that, we get an opportunity to say what is so. Yes, my mother is a divine being, and I know she did the best with me and for me, and I'm so grateful to her. Because of her, I'm here today, right? Happy birthday to Debbie. And I also know that we created some situations together that involve violence for me to learn from.
Yes.
Absolutely. As we're talking about this, I know we're dealing a lot with the personal shadow, but again, our approach to this work is from Carl Jung's investigation, and one of the elements of those investigations is the collective shadow. Humanity shares a shadow collectively. Therefore, we're talking about the abuse of children, and we can, and especially with people of color, speaking of us as African Americans, ever how you want to address that, from slavery, conditioned and imprinted a shadow on humanity. Because it's just not people of color who beat their kids. See, the shadow has no color.
Right.
Nope.
So if you know, we were taught as slaves to beat our children, you are leaving an imprint on the collective consciousness of humanity, and you're not exempt from that. So the abuse is spread out worldwide through generation. In the church, we had a saying that we're here to break a generational curse. Well, you can't break a generational curse through altering behavior. And violence is a way that we try to alter behavior. And it's just not done like that. We got to get to a space. First of all, a lot of people, we beat on our kids because we are unable to articulate our own shadow. So the violence is a way we try to articulate the darkness within ourselves onto our children, because that behavior is mirroring something I don't want to see in me. So we must be patient, and we must find a new way to address how we do things, because the shadow is always active. But it's active for a reason, because it wants attention, it wants to merge with the self and be one integrated being.
Right.
Yeah.
Shadow definitely has a purpose, and its purpose is to cause you to expand. And speaking with the children, one thing that we've learned, and that from our research and from having a teenager, is that your teenager, the things that you go through with your teenage child, is coming to mirror your teenage years and the shadow of your teenage years for you to work out. So my daughter Tamaria has mirrored a lot of my experiences as a teenager, and I had to learn how to react differently. You want to react out of fear. You know, we go into protect mode. You want to put them in a certain spot, but I had to learn to recognize that she's just mirroring my shadow to me, and the shame and the guilt and the things that I did that I'm still holding on to as an adult, which has shaped the way I think and operate and go through life now. So with her mirroring that, as I did my shadow work, Timothy did his shadow work with our teenager, she began to mellow out on her own, and I began to realize that she is capable of making decisions that's best for her and figuring things out. So we kind of pulled the reins back on that. And instead of going in and trying to lock her up, which is what happened to me, and you know, like you just said, our mothers and fathers did the best that they could.
Of course.
But each generation is to expand and grow, so that as every generation that comes behind us, we are empowering them to be the light workers that they're called to be. So with this type of shadow work, it comes in many different forms. You can not only do it with the people in your life, but parents. A lot of people need to do a lot of parental shadow work.
Yes.
The parental shadow work will bring healing for you, your parents. Even if they have transition, it releases a lot of energy for you to really step into the authenticity of who you are. And instead of living a life where your shadow is guiding you and causing you to make decisions that are inauthentic. And that's where a lot of people have pain at. We make decisions, we go into careers, we marry people, we do all these things out of shadows that we have not integrated or looked at to see, is this really who I am? And then when you start hitting those ages of transformation of death, like 30, 35, 40, and get to, you know, all those type of things, and you begin to act in the behavior, and you look around and you say, who am I? Who is this person? I don't recognize myself. That's because you haven't been living authentically all the time.
Right.
I love that. I'm so grateful that you shared that. Shemsu-t, I think you muted yourself.
Yeah,
but well, I know, right? One of the things that I would say, I'm so grateful that you even reiterated it again, Jaquay. I remember my father told me something, such a cool guy, December 20th, Sagittarius like myself. And I remember he told me, he said, you know something, let me tell you something. He said, when you sit down here and I'm talking to you and I'm telling you everything, this, that, and everything like that, he said, you need to know that I'm probably the smartest you ever gonna meet, right? But he said, also, I had a lot of things go on in my life. So everything I tell you that's good and that you know that resonates inside of your little bitty self, that's what he said to me. He said, you keep that. He said, all the rest of that garbage, he said, throw that in the garbage. He was self-aware inside of that. And I'm so grateful for that, because he just told one on himself. He said, yeah, I know I got it. And I also know I got it. So that other stuff I got, throw it in the garbage.
Yeah. And you know, it kind of reminds me, my dad's a Sagittarius too, December 6th.
Wow.
So, you know, for his birthday, I sent him a card. And in the card, it was basically saying there's no perfect way to be a father. And my father and I was estranged for years. And we just started building our relationship in the last, 5, 6, 7 years. And in the card, it was just saying there's no way to be a perfect father, letting, you know, just going down the gambit. And at the end, it says, I cherish the relationship and who we are today. And he called me. He said, you know, I didn't call you when I first got the card because you was going to be like, here this man go, sobbing and crying on the phone. He said, but, you know, I've been struggling with this. And I felt like you connected with me when you picked this card out, because you realized that I was struggling with this, and you brought me healing, because I just want you to know that I regret not being the father that I could have been to you, and I appreciate the fact that you appreciate what we have now. So that's healing there. That's expansion. And also it helps him, Because as I get rid of my daddy stuff, I won't have to put it on him.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, that is so cool. You know, I was gonna say before till I realized I was muted that we actually teach a course in Master Force called the Tao of Parenting. And the main gist of the course is for people to really resolve their parenting issues.
Right.
You know, and for them to actually see that what they're doing is they're imitating their parents when they're taking care of their children. But
Right.
there is another approach. There's a new you to discover in that process, but you can't discover it until you resolve the issues of your parent. And there are other ways to discipline. I believe in discipline. My children were disciplined, and my grandchildren are disciplined, but they're disciplined inside of other structures. You know, breathe to center. You know, go and do the dog thing. What do you call that yoga pose? You know, against the wall if you do it. You know, but there are a number of different ways to have young people check their energy. See, we've been told in this world that what works is reward and punishment.
Right.
That's the justice system. That is not kindness, compassion. It's not growth. It's not transformation. It is reward and punishment. And we have to move away from that. We're not, you know, as spiritual beings, we don't do reward and punishment. You know, we don't operate in that frame. So, you know, thank you for speaking on behalf of children. You know, that's how Master Force got started as well. We believe in the children, and we believe they are here to teach us, and we're not just here to control them. That's not what the purpose is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I wanted to just say that. So now I want to look at some of the ways in which you support people and incorporating their shadow self into their whole self. You know, what does that work look like?
You want to go first?
For me, I'll speak on it and she will, because we approach it a little differently sometimes, because she has her own way, I have mine, but we find a way to meet in the middle in our services to the clients that come to us. Well, first of all, the work is all about getting them to love themselves, finding the space, and a lot of times we don't.
You stole my stuff.
Well, see, that's what you get when I go first.
You stole my stuff.
I just extract from you. But anyway, loving yourself opens all of you up to be looked at, and not from the person, not from the persona, the actor, the actress, but from the soul, from the universal, eternal you. You can step away from the drama of the experience and begin to observe you as that little girl, because you know, if we have childhood issues, we don't, even though our bodies grow into adults, we stay stuck mentally, spiritually, psychologically at the age we were hurt. So through observation, we can sit and look at the hurt child and not just the one who is pissed off at everybody. See, I'm a dude that gets angry. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not walking on the clouds and the stars. I get angry sometimes. Those who know me know I don't hide that. Okay, so that's how I manage. But I know that's my shadow coming to play. I know that if I don't find my way back to self-love, that shadow will possess me, and it'll begin to sabotage the bridges I'm trying to make to connect to the people around me and to myself. So I believe unconditional now self-love, not just self-love, loving me when, like you said, the reward, punishment, good, bad, religious philosophy, we must overstand past that to get to a place of just being and accepting what I see and loving it without any conditions of how I think I should behave. So that's my point with it. Go ahead and
you just took my love.
I know you got some more stuff.
I'm the love person.
You are the love person.
You do the high stuff, and I go for the love. Okay. Okay, so since he took my route, I'm gonna steal his tonight and do his route.
So let me give you
So
room.
another thing we use with our clients is contemplation.
Mm.
We believe very fervently in contemplating why you're in a situation and connecting to past situations. When we brought up the patterns, we want you to sit down. We're going to have you journal. We're going to do the mind maps like I taught you.
Mm.
And then the next thing that we do, once we get through the contemplation, we have to ground the work. A lot of times we have a lot of our memories and a lot of our experiences trapped in our body. So next thing we'll do is we're going to connect you to your body, because I know a lot of our experiences, or for me especially, when I am experiencing overtaking of the shadow, of possession of a shadow, I have to get still. Of course, you know we do breathe the center. We're going to teach you to get centered and to breathe and to get still. And the next thing I'm going to ask you to do to really just have you get in touch with your body is yoga. I'm an advocate for yoga.
Yes.
There are certain moves, there are heart openers, and certain things that you can do that can just release those emotions and those experiences. I have learned so much about myself doing yoga. I've been down on that mat and struggling with an issue with my shadow and couldn't understand why this was occurring in my life, and been on that mat and got up from it, and it just clicked for me. It's like, this is what's going on with me. And then what we're going to segue into, I'm going to move to that. The last thing we use to help people really connect to their shadow, because sometimes we get overwhelmed by emotion, we can't really see what's going on, is we finish it out with emotional freedom technique. We are big advocates of EFT, and I can't wait to discuss that as well tonight.
Right. Exactly. You know, the thing I think about, a lot of people, we want to escape what is called the ego. I got to get rid of my ego.
Right.
The ego is the problem. The ego, you're going to need the ego as far as engaging the shadow work, okay? We understand the ego houses our personality, but a lot of times we become possessed by that personality and believing that's who we are, okay? And the shadow comes along and engages that part of the personality that we may or may not accept, and we begin to create resistance, and sometimes we even create enemies that could be friends through that. So let me tell you, the ego, you're going to need that. You know, if I'm taking my daughter to the store, somebody comes to rob me or to harm my child, the ego is coming front and center. You get to meet Timothy Glenn's ego very quickly. I'll do the shadow work afterwards and do the investigation afterwards. But the ego creates a place of safety for this moment. Right. It's the same way in shadow work. The ego creates a place of safety. It copes the best it can until something higher comes, and it can trust to relieve the responsibility to the soul. Once it sees the soul has control, okay, we good, I'm going to observe the issues, then the ego can relax. We can once again invite the shadow. If the shadow don't want to come out and play, please chill until it does, okay?
But you know, we don't really have to invite the shadow, love. Like I said, with the relationships, you're going to see the shadow all day, every day. Even watching TV, you have judgments about people. You have feelings about people. All of those things, you want to know your shadow, pay attention to you. Right. Pay attention to what bothers you, what moves you, what ignites some type of emotion in you. That is all projections of your shadow.
You know, and we actually use, you know, part of the work when we do the mirror work in Master Force, part of it's that work, because, you know, we're going to attract, you know, like you all spoke to, Timothy spoke to this early on, you're going to attract those clients that really will speak to your shadow and have you do your own work even while you're working with them.
Yes.
And that's how we expand and grow. That's how we, you know, but again, you have to be tuned in to yourself to know that that's what's showing up, because otherwise, you know, you could hurt somebody. You could literally, you know, speak to someone in such a derogatory way, because we speak to ourselves like that.
Yes.
And so when that shadow shows up, you can cut that person up if you're not tuned in.
Yes.
True.
Yeah, so it's important, you know, that mirror work, you know, we use it so you can, you know, don't be afraid to see what shows up, but breathe to center and know that it's showing up so that you can get your work done too. And I can hear that all of us do that, and that's very powerful.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, so now, you know, I know one of the other things, and I wanted to mention, there was this other book that I used. It's called, because Timothy, you talked about being stuck in your childhood. Well, who said that? One of you said that. But, I remember I was able to say that at 5, I quit expanding emotionally when my mother was put in a mental institution because I loved her. My mother, I was in love with her golden shadow. I didn't know her dark shadow till I was, 25. But, I loved her. And when she was taken away from me, I decided I would never allow myself to experience love. So it wasn't until I read this book called Your Inner Child of the Past by Hugh Missildine. And what it pointed out is that I grew up in a neglected environment. And that neglected environment created an invisible being, and then it also created a promiscuous being. If I wasn't, the only thing that kept me kind of safe in that was that Capricorn, that religious piece, that Jupiter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, doing that work, I'm offering that book to people. But again, if you read the book, feel free to reach out to anyone to support you as you do that work. And then I also want to ask each, how do you see the Bach flower remedy actually fitting in now into the conversation of supporting people in resolving or integrating their shadow work? How would you use Bach flower remedy in this particular course?
I love that question. I love all the questions. Can I just say that? I love all the questions. The when you think about the Bach flower essences, and when you think about a lot of all of the different products and the different things that we use and utilize, basically what we're looking at is support. So what we're looking at is how do we support the avatar, the body, this frequency transmitter here. How do we support that inside of the work that we're doing? Because literally, as we're going through and we're moving this energy and we're having these experiences, our frequency and our vibration is changing. And so when you think about frequency and vibration, I don't want it to be an out there concept. You already know that if you turn on an AM station, you're going to get that, coming into the radio. If you're trying to, in Chicago, listen to WGCI, you already know you're not going to be able to get that frequency on an AM because it's an FM station. So right. When we look at the shift in our frequency and our energy and all of that, this gives us a way to make it so that we're tangible with it. So inside of the work of doing our soul ascension work, soul retrieval, all of the different processes that we're sharing, our energy is moving and moving and moving. So when we have our energy moving and moving, we can experience most anything inside of our avatar. So in order to support our avatar, we have the gift that Dr. Edward Bach gave us. So Dr. Edward Bach created the Bach flower essences. He is a British-born physician. He was born in the 1930s. And one of the things that he started to observe was that as a regularly trained physician, or what is called an allopathic physician, just in the regular medical system, he was trained to look at disease from the standpoint of germs and pathology and things like that. One of the things that occurred with him in his young life was that he was diagnosed with a tumor in his spleen of cancer. He had it removed, and after he had it removed, they told him, oh, you got about 3 months to live. He went on to live about 20-some years after that, because he knew what we knew. We are all each other's people. He knew that there was something else to know inside of it, and so he opened up himself, just like we talked about it the other day, for the download. And as he opened up himself for the download, he would have different emotional experiences And on his property, in the countryside in England, he would literally place his hands over the flowers, over the different plants. And when he could feel that the energy of the emotional state subsided, he knew that the little water, the dew that was on that particular plant or flower would support him moving forward with that same situation. And so one of the revelations that I really allowed myself to open up to came years ago. I brought a whole bunch of carnations one time because my mom gave me this really cool book that told me which flowers were for different meanings. There's a whole language of the flower and the plant kingdom. So carnations are for love. So carnations also are relatively inexpensive. So I brought a whole bunch of carnations and I put them all in my windowsill. I had a whole bunch of little things and I put them everywhere. And I literally could feel such a feeling welling up in my house. It just felt really great. And I remember when I went to sleep, this is right when around the time I started studying Bach flower and different alternative therapies and things like that. A revelation came to me and I didn't know what it was until later. It says that we're here to help you. And what that is the flower and the plant kingdom literally are here to nurture and support us. And because he went into the vibrational intuition that he had present to him, he downloaded these 38 remedies that really support the body as we're moving through all of this deep work that we're doing. Mm-hmm. Happy birthday to me. Right? Is it my birthday?
It's your birthday.
It is, honey.
Go, Isha. It's your birthday. It's your birthday.
Okay. Right? And so inside of that energy, we get an opportunity to have support at a level that we just really didn't know was possible before we opened ourselves up to this. So the thing that I love about Ignite Your Soul Connection that's been going on for more than 5 seasons, right, is that we each season we build one upon the other. So we've been talking about breathing to center. We've been talking about working inside of the Master Course Mobile Curriculum, which includes meditation, affirmation, relaxation, and visualization. It includes our breathe to center, of course, and it also includes the MEPS, which is the life quadrants. Mm-hmm. So inside of all of this work that we're doing, and the ways that we use our breath and everything to ground us, etc., we also have these beautiful tools to assist us. And so the way that it's broken down, even though it's 38 remedies, it's broken down into 7 different areas. And what I really love about the way that it's shared is that you can look at it from 2 different ways. So the kind of old school way to look at the 7 different headings that the remedies are inside of, they call them uncertainty. So people that are experiencing some form of uncertainty, oversensitivity, fear, that's the 3rd category. The 4th category is overcare for others. Isn't that interesting? I use a couple out of that area right there. Loneliness, insufficient interest in present circumstances. Isn't that cool? And despondency and despair. So that's kind of like the old school way that that we would talk about them. But another way to categorize these same ones is to look at them from the energy of find hope and joy. That would be category 1. Live and let live, right? I love that one. Stand your ground. That one, that touches me. They all touch me, right? Face your fears. Live this day. Reach out to others. And know your own mind. How awesome is that? So from those older designations of the 7 areas, now we have these ones that really seem to instill more of a lightness of energy and more hope. And I want to be clear, I ain't afraid of the dark, baby, because that's all we are when we get down to our pure essence. We are
Mhm.
the space in between the stars. So we are pure, pure darkness, right?
Mhm.
And to add the energy to it to really sustain us in doing the work, these new categories, I like those a lot. Musha, so it looked like you were saying something, but you
Yeah,
muted.
no, I know. I had to mute myself because I'm always saying something. And the way that the service works is that even when I laugh, it goes to me. So I mute myself so that it stays on the speaker. So, it's so wonderful that you spoke about those new categories because they do offer hope, but they also offer a way through, right? It's kind of like I can see that I need to stand my ground. I mean,
Mhm.
that's exactly what I need to do, and depending on what the situation is. So now that you've given us those categories, how do you actually use this product? And then, where do I find it? Do I have to get it prescribed by a doctor, coach, therapist? How do we actually get to use it?
Um, uh, that is so perfect. One of the ways that the Bach flower essences are created, um, there has been a lot of recent knowing about how um, valuable this resource is. So this is some beautiful alkaline water that I have. Love it so much, right? And so Isoru Morimoto talked about what kind of frequency energy gets placed inside of water when I hold it and I say, I love you. There's crystals that get formed inside of there. If we freeze that, we would see beautiful crystal formation for what love looks like inside of this water, right? So what
Yes.
ends up happening is the frequency that the flowers have when the sunlight beams down on them as the sun is coming up. So it matters where they're growing, right? So as the sun is coming up, it beams down on them, and the dew that gathers on the petals overnight gets infused with the essence of those particular flowers. So it infuses that life essence from that vibration of those flowers that, again, they said they were going to help us out, the plant kingdom, flower kingdom. And so the way that that ends up working is that that dew is collected, or those particular flowers are suspended in high vibrational water. And then that water is mixed half and half with brandy to create a mother tincture. So and so it comes like this. This is the kind of bottle that it comes in. This is my favorite one at the time, and I'll tell you about this one in a little. It's called Star of Bethlehem. Oh, it's not appropriate for the season. Hey. But anyway, I digress. My intuition is on point. It be doing stuff I don't even be knowing doing. I say it, I be like, what? But anyway, so then it creates a mother tincture. And so then what you have an option of doing from here is you can combine up to 7 different remedies for them to maintain their pure effectiveness inside of another, like a little bottle, and then you can fill the rest with brandy or with more high vibrational water, and then you could use those drops. So the reason why I explain that process is so that you can see this is a very, very mild system. So what it's meant to do is to treat the subtle energy in the body. The very subtle, like when I just feel a little bit off to the left, just a tinge like that. It's like, okay, let me get to myself and see what's going on. This right here, he's got your back like that. And so what's great about that too is that you get an opportunity to develop what we in Master Force like to call an intimacy with yourself. And so normally I have associated intimacy with something that has to do with something else. When we say intimacy, please make a note that what we mean is that you get so crystal clear about how your avatar, your body moves, what it responds to, and what, sends it this way and that way. And so when you work with the Bach flower essences, it really requires a subtlety inside of you. So when we were talking about the Marv technique earlier, you need to get down with that. So that'll be that you'll be doing your breathe to center to go into your meditation and your visualizing and just really getting internal, right? And inside of those downloads and that really subtle vibrational energy, you'll be able to feel, okay, I can feel that this one, even though it's described as the one, I think that one actually feels more congruent for me. So it's really calling you. So the answer to your question is you're the one that does it. You go to the health food store. They sell these at every health food store that I have ever been in, from from the hood to wherever the hood ain't. I don't know, but anyway, um, they sell them everywhere in the health food stores, and then in larger stores like Whole Foods, they also sell them. And when you go over there, they have a lot of little leaflets that you can flip through that tell you what each of them do. And so I'll be sharing some of the ones that I think are very important. I created a five of them that I know that will support your children while they're moving around in the world, going into these different places where they get to go and have different experiences. I think we call it school and all these different other fun places that they get to go and learn so much. So I've created that there are five that I know will support them. There are others too, and again, you could use your own intuition to create that package for yourself. But I know of five that will work really well, and I want to share those with you.
That is so powerful. Thank you for all of that information. You were clearly in your 5 enneagram. Did I say that right?
You are tickling me so good for my birthday. Jaquay, what did you say? Jaquay and them know about that enneagram.
I said definitely in your 5.
I love it. I just thought.
What's the short version of what that means? What's the short version of what that 5 means?
You knew what you was talking about, and you made sure we did too.
Yeah.
And
you did the facts, the research.
Right. That's the 5.
And there has to be a little, as each says, a tinge of weirdness.
Right.
That goes with the 5.
Just a tinge.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. And when I actually started using Bach flower, I think I ran across it by accident because I was looking for something to support my daughter who occurred for me as whiny. And she had to be about 3, 4 years, maybe 4 or 5, right? But every time she spoke, she would kind of like whine. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, and her brother said something about, why is she whining so much? And this is before Google, but we still had a search engine, and so I remember going on the computer and typing in, how do you support a whiny child or something like that, and Bach flower showed up.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I think I may have went to the health food store, because at that time I was living out in the suburbs, and I gave it to her, and I just put like 4 drops in a glass of water for her. And I believe for 2 days I did that, and I'm telling you, that 3rd day she started talking like a grown woman, and she's been talking like that ever since. And I was like, oh my God, I should have waited,
And you said which one was that mood?
That was Larch. That was Larch.
That's in my 5-pack, baby.
Yep, Larch is for confidence. And I don't know if you have my favorite, but my favorite is walnut, because I'm always on the cutting edge, it seems like, of life. And sometimes I get ready to make moves, and I can't stop and wait to see what everybody think about it. So I do walnut because I'm just going to keep moving forward whether you like it or not.
I've noticed that about you.
Because when I download, it's like, it may not be popular, and I think that's true about most of us in our circle.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
right? All of us kind of
Like
flow like that.
agrimony. We use the agrimony. We have ours here too.
Agrimony. Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
remember going through a divorce and I had to do agrimony. What does it so Jaquay, can you read on the bottom,
Uh-huh.
on the bottom of the bottle, what
Yes.
does agrimony support?
Helps you communicate your true feelings rather than hide them behind a cheerful face. Is also used for naturally occurring nervous tension, and I have a lot of that.
Okay. then Icho, the one that you held up, the Star of Bethlehem, what does that say on the bottom of yours?
You would ask me that, and I'm working on healing my eyeball. Let me see.
Yeah, I
Huh?
know. We all that's my favorite thing this time.
Yes, beloved, I do not know.
Okay, okay, that's cool. So you
What she has
what do
started?
you what do you
I guess
use Star of Bethlehem for? You have Star of Bethlehem, Jaquay?
No.
Oh, okay. What do you use Star of Bethlehem for in your life, Icha?
well, I was gonna save that for later, but there is no later. The only thing that we have is this present moment. Do you see how my poet is coming out for my birthday? You see how I'm
Bar.
getting down like that?
Not the bars though.
I know, right? It's something coming. I could feel them. They welling up back there somewhere. I could feel them. But anyway, Star of Bethlehem, I came upon it actually this summer. What ended up happening was there were a couple of different situations that I was arguing with like one of my best friends. She and I was like doing it. I BTC, okay, because I was going in, we was doing it. And so one day we were moving around and we were going to different places. And this person is a Gemini. She knows I love her, and so she doesn't mind that I'm saying all of this. And so anyway, she is much more so of a moving around person. And for those of you all, I'm sure we'll cover it in another Ignite Your Soul connection. But with myself being Sagittarius and her person being um, Gemini, I literally create relationships with people that are opposite from me so I can learn how to integrate the entire zodiac. So I start with the ones that's opposite of me first so I can really get that in, and then I get the more subtle energies around it. So saying that to say she's a very strong Gemini in herself. I'm strong Sagittarian energy. So as we were moving around, I found myself to the point where I really wanted to say so many things out of my mouth. And again, another one with me being a 2 conversation card, one of my greatest gifts in this universe is to be able to gift you with the words that I say. So I know that if I feel like cussing somebody out, I'm off kilter. So as we were moving around, one of the places we went to was one of our favorite health food stores. When we went there, I knew already that I was going to get Rescue Remedy, and I'll talk about that a little bit later as well. However, I said I really want to be inside of the energy of the Bach flower, which is intuitive energy. So I went over to the area where the Bach flower was, and I just said, I feel so much right now, and I really want to be present. But how do I ascend this and transmute this energy? Before I hold it longer. That's all I'm gonna say. So anyway, I'm going over there, got my little hands all out, got my little eyeballs in my hands with my spirit all nam yo holding some of them. And so anyway, I touched this one, right? And so I looked at it, and in the sunlight, I could see clearly what it said, and I don't remember it in this moment. I'm gonna look it up so I could share it with you. But when I looked at it, it said in a quote, "Find your soul comfort." And what
Mm.
I really felt was that there was something that I was reacting to from very much of a childhood space. The thing that I have been learning to grow out of is the energy around people telling me what to do or authority. And it just so happened that that was part of the way the disagreement was occurring. And so the one of the titles, if you will, for this particular essence is release deep emotional pain. And I know that anytime I get to the point where I want to use my voice for anything other than saying, oh God, I love you, hey amor, and different things like that, I know I'm in some deep emotional pain. So it is incumbent upon me as immediately as I can to get back to myself, because that's my gift. And I know if I speak out of those other places, I create discord like a So that's the way around of how I came in touch with Star Bethlehem. It actually came in the summertime for me, for finding my soul comfort and releasing deep emotional pain.
Good stuff.
You know, that is beautiful. It is my intention that the audience can really hear that not only do we study, research, and teach on the information that we're sharing with you, but we use it inside of our own work. And we allow our shadow work to exist. We don't pretend that we don't have issues. We don't pretend to be perfect. Matter of fact, we don't have any desire to be, well, we are perfect saints. But we don't have any desire for you to think that we're any better and any greater than you are. We are growing beings. We actually operate, all of us operate inside of teacher and student with each other, because we know that we're growing and sharing, and every time somebody has an experience, they can share it with us so that we can grow inside of that as well. And so Bach flower is one of those pieces that really, the comfort, the soul comfort. I love when you say that, because at different times the soul is expanding in different direction and it needs the support. So the Bach flower is a way to offer that. And then I want to go ahead and segue into one of the other instruments that we use to support our growth and our development as we're doing our shadow work and any other expansive work we're doing, is emotional freedom technique. And so Jaquay, you were getting excited about that earlier, so we might as well go ahead and let you bring us into that topic.
Okay, so emotional freedom technique is, as Isha said before, a method of releasing the charge of emotions that can sometimes overwhelm us and help us become clear on what we experience and accepting where we are. And she spoke of the different meridians in the body, and what the meridians are tapping points that you tap on to release these emotions with this emotional charge. We use it daily and consistently. We work with our clients and using it too, especially we have a client that's in a high emotional state. We take them through the tapping process to release that emotion so we can get clear on what we need to do next to see the shadow work at play or whatever we're working through with our clients. Tim, did you want to add to it?
EFT has been very instrumental. I can't remember what year we introduced that to our circle and community here. But I was going through the other day and I saw the certification course that I purchased many years ago and dealing with EFT, because I found that when I am emotional, many ideas come from that emotion that may or may not have substance. So if I can find a way to use the emotion to guide me towards shadow work, also if I can find a way to get those emotions to a neutral place, I can observe what I am experiencing clearly, rather than the emotionally charged stories of wanting to blame something external from myself. And EFT helps me take responsibility for myself and what I am experiencing in my space. So like I say, EFT, it was two ways. We don't all know, but the teachers here know the average tapping points. Some people even tap in this area here. And the old school way was the gamut. I don't know if anybody still uses the gamut way, but maybe she can show you the gamut way as well as the original tapping points. But just reassuring the soul and the ego as well that I love you in spite of what I am experiencing is a game changer on the path of what we do here.
Right.
Go
And
ahead, sir.
another thing that that is important for EFT is that taking responsibility for your emotional states. I know MFC, we teach always keeping our vibration high. And EFT is a tool to use to shift your vibration. We have to be responsible for the emotions that we allow to settle into our body. Your emotions affect you on a cellular level. As each mentioned, the subtle body, it affects every area of your body, your being that you are made up of. So if you are trying to live a life of high vibration, you're trying to attract things into your experience, you want to create the life that you want, then it is pertinent upon us to keep our vibrations high and allow our emotions to be in a place and where we can be in a vortex and attract those things to us. And EFT is one of those tools that we use to take responsibility for our emotional state at all times. I know that if I'm creating, like for instance, for Master Force, I know that if I'm coming here to do this, I don't want to bring energies into this space. We're nurturing, we're giving you energies to heal your body. So if I'm in an emotional state, I must EFT before I sit here. And
Absolutely.
especially with me, whenever I'm doing something, even though we're not trying to be perfect, I have a perfectionist shadow. I am a perfectionist. So before here, I'm in a frantic mode of making sure everything is set up, doing this, and I don't want to bring that here. I don't want to pass the energy of perfectionism onto the audience, so I'm going to EFT and release the need to be perfect, the need for everything to work a certain way. I'm going to release that anxiety. I'm going to take responsibility for the energy that I'm putting into this space, because this space is sacred. So that is our intro of EFT, is taking responsibility for your emotional state at all times.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah, that's very, I love how you spoke about you can be in this state, this heightened state of anxiety or fear, and EFT will immediately bring you. I know, sometimes I just hit my chest sometimes if I'm out in public and I see something, that is now causing me to feel a certain way. I have to bring myself back to center because my breath may not do it right then.
Right.
Because here in Chicago, I have experienced someone being shot and me going over there and wanting to hold them while they took their last breath. And I did that, and then when I got back in my car, that's when I felt this big, huge energy, and I had to really, take care of myself in that moment. And EFT, was the rescue, so that's it. I want us to be able to share this. And, I just see that we need to create a series here. Light and Master Force needs to collaborate on this one, because all the ones out there that we use in many of our different courses, although I love Brad Yates, we need to do our own thing here. So I'm putting that on our 2016 list of projects to do.
Absolutely. One thing about EFT with us, we understand that we are transmitters as human beings. And EFT can alter the way we transmit and communicate with the universe we live in to manifest and attract those things which we do desire and focus on. So EFT is not just simply something to manage emotion, it's to change the channel on the transmitter in the way that we relate into this external world of time, space, reality that we deal with. We are such powerful beings. I don't even think we've scraped the surface of anybody, Brad Yates or anybody, as to the power of EFT and how we can become more unified with our intentions. So hopefully, like I said, we can do this work together as Master Force, because I really believe we were onto something. Before y'all, nobody else was talking EFT. Okay,
I couldn't talk to him. Listen, people still look at me like I'm crazy, but we used that inside that work when my grandson was being diagnosed with autism, 7-8 years ago, and I'm telling my daughter, listen, you can tap with him, you can tap yourself for him, it's just some of the people say, what are you talking about, right? But here's, I'm already knowing, and I've been writing down some different ones, but the whole conversation of racism, worth, prejudice, discrimination. I mean, we have that whole series that we can cover. You know, colorism itself, you know, because at one level, I know that I'm born into a culture of being a black female in Chicago because my gifts are needed here. And my soul is much bigger than being a black woman born in Chicago.
Yes.
You see, so, you know, it's like I know how to live in the whole universe and to take care of business here. I'm not stuck here. And so my experiences of you know, what people call racism, I don't have those experiences because I live beyond that. And I know that people are stuck there. And so there's work that we can do in supporting them to really knowing that some of these are triggers that are being used on us because people are having us being stuck in this closed mind, in this closed system.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, and we can open that up for people just by introducing those topics inside of tapping. So, you know, thank you for getting excited and passionate with me about that.
EFT saves lives, okay? It saves lives.
Yeah,
That's a T-shirt.
I tap. You remember Hudson, right? Our dog here. I used to tap on him.
Oh my God.
I would tap on my
You
dog.
told that.
He has to
The
get his.
dog can also use the Bach flower. I just want to put that out there too.
I have
Yes.
seen the dog by flower. Yes.
My cat has used Bach flower. Rescue Remedy. My cat got hurt, baby. I went out and spent $20 on some Rescue Remedy.
Right.
It's cheaper online, though. Let's make sure that people know that.
Yeah.
It is cheaper online. So luckyvitamin.com, that's where I get my walnut from. And it's only like $10. When I go to the health food stores, it's $19.
Right.
Sometimes I am in an emergency state, and I will spend that extra $9 at the store because I can't wait for it to show up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good.
So go ahead now. Now, you know, I'm interested because I don't know what you just mentioned an original term. What did you call it? The gamut? What was that, Timothy?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that something that you can show us and take us through a tapping routine, Jaquay, or would you rather? You don't have to, because I know people just.
No, and he just likes to throw. He likes to bring up stuff and then put it on me. That's what I was.
I know.
So awesome at the demonstrations. I just like to watch.
Really?
I'm sorry. You know.
That's what you're doing. Is that what we doing?
So, you know, we have the usual tapping points with that Brad Yates take us through with here and here and here. The gamut is once you've hit all of those normal points, instead of going back to your eye again, you're going to come to your hand.
Yeah.
Here.
Yes.
And then you tap your thumb.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Your pointer finger.
Mm-hmm.
Your middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
You skip your ring finger and you go to your pinky.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So then you're going to come here and you're going to hit right here in between your pinky and your ring finger and you're going to tap there. At this point, you take a deep breath in and a deep breath out.
Mm-hmm.
You close your eyes. Take another deep breath in. Deep breath out. Then you do what is called while you're tapping simultaneously. Look down. It's a hard left. You're going to look down to your left. You're going to look down to your right. You're going to circle your eyes all the way around. And then you hum, happy birthday to me. And you go, And you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you hum the rest of happy birthday to me. And then you breathe.
See, that's old school.
And what that does is
it
ignites. What it does is the singing, right brain activation, counting, left brain activation, and it balances it out.
That is.
I have to, when I'm in a high emotional, especially when I feel like just really tight in my chest, I gotta run to the gambit. The gambit helps me really release it.
That's powerful. I love that. And I love the mantras. That's why I create so many of them. I make a mantra for everything.
Wrote a song about it, want to hear it go.
Here you go. And I include that inside of my tapping because, again, like you, sometimes I am in such a high state. And, people can't hear that from me, right? They're like, oh, you're always, and it's like, it's not that I'm always, but as soon as I start going to the left, I reach for something. I don't have the luxury of staying stuck anywhere.
Right,
right. So as soon as I can acknowledge that that's where I am, it's not a good use of my time. Right. I'm not going to keep going down this spiral. I already know it's going to cost me. Right? We live inside of the 17-second rule. Right. So, as soon as we know, and if we have to get some work, we calling on each other and we're working it out like that. But it's, yeah, so that's wonderful. So now, can either of you take us through a tapping? Do we have time to go through a tapping? Just even if it's just a self-love tapping or...
Well, Timothy, I think you can do that.
No, yeah. You're going to do that one.
Come on, love.
Come on, love. Come on, love.
Okay, let's see. What are we doing? Shadow. Let's do one on embracing the shadow.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay. Well, if an emotion was to come up, and we can't clearly define that emotion or whatever it is, but there's a feeling that is involved with this. I would first go with a deep breath. I always keep some water with me, just in case. And sometimes I like to take a drink of water when I'm going through the process. And the karate chop here, I would say even though I am possessed by my shadow at this moment.
I am possessed by my shadow at this moment.
I love and accept myself.
I love and accept myself.
And if it's still really there, I will go through it again. Even though I am possessed by my shadow in this moment.
Even though I am possessed by my shadow at this moment.
I deeply love and accept myself.
I deeply love and accept myself.
Mm-hmm. And then I would go through the tapping points. Before we begin with the tapping, a lot of people don't do this. They tap here. But if you notice within your chest, there's what's called the sore spot. You can feel it, a little indentation right here.
Right under the clavicle.
Mm-hmm. And you can rub that. For some people, it may hurt a little bit depending on if there's pain there, emotional pain trapped there. But you can massage that and automatically feel a little freer just by the massage there. Okay.
Still saying,
I feel some emotional freedom.
Hey, it's your birthday. You got to, right?
Right.
So we're feeling that, and then we go right into my tapping. And I would use it. I use it just like this. My shadow. My shadow. My shadow. I used both cheeks. My shadow. My shadow. My shadow. And my shadow. And and if you really feel a little free, go under the arm here. Either one is fine. My shadow.
And from here, we'll take it to the gambit. I'll run you through.
All right.
So we'll take you through these feelings of my shadow. These feelings that my shadow are bringing up.
Mm-hmm.
These feelings that my shadow are bringing up. Skip the ring. These feelings that my shadow are bringing up.
Mm-hmm.
These feelings that my shadow are bringing up. And we're right here tapping on the side again. And we're coming in between the ring finger and the pinky. And we tap in here. These feelings that my shadow are bringing up. We're going to close our eyes and take a deep breath in. And release out your mouth. Open your eyes. Hard down left. Look left. Look to the right and down.
Mm-hmm.
Circle your eyes around. And then begin to sing Happy Birthday to Me. Hum it. Happy And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Then happy and then you take a deep breath in through your nose. One out through your mouth. And you release. Now, one thing he forgot to mention is whenever you're starting the process, you're going to want to gauge where the emotion is.
Right.
So you're going to start at between a 1 is least amount of emotion, and a 10 is I feel very, very strongly in this emotion. And when you get to run through the gambit at the end, you're going to ask yourself again, where am I feeling this? And you want to 1 through 5. And I tend to stop when I hit about 2, because sometimes it takes a minute for the energy to dissipate.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hit about I'm a 2, then I know that I can chill and just allow it to continue to release itself.
Absolutely. The instructor that kind of showed me how to do it. The brother was so keen with it. He didn't tap at all. He could mentally activate the points without tapping. And you know, me, I like to do it old-fashioned way. You know, I just like to go into the tapping. I feel more engaged in what I'm doing, especially, again, massaging the sore spots here, the sore spot, because all the emotional pain seems to come to these spots. Sometimes you may rub it and it's really sore. That's how you know the emotion is really charged. So just, you know, massage that, and then you can go right into the sequence of your tapping, you know, and just get away from looking silly, get away from, you know, this doesn't make any sense. It's not supposed to make sense. That's how you know it's real. Okay, so just go through with it. You know, it's funny, you know, in scriptures, the Bible talks about the foolish things of this world seems to bring the most wisdom. So this is about as foolish as you can get, being in public, you know, tapping and going all around. That's fine, as long as you're free emotionally, and as long as your shadow is resting now, and so that you can observe exactly what's going on without the stories and the baggage coming with it. Hey, it's a win.
Oh my God, I'm really fighting the urge to like go inside of my shirt right now. I just want to take my shirt off and just really like massage. I mean, I just kind of want to get down to that clavicle part.
Well, that's the thymus. That's the thymus gland, and that's a lot of stuff gets stuck there. But you know, a lot of work can be released with that thymus gland. So it's really, those sore spots hold the openings, you know, to a lot of it, and it's just in between our heart and our throat chakra. So it's a very vital point in our body. It's the pressure points that really can release us, and especially like you're saying, in those moments when our shadows may have us hindered, you know, or fear may have us hindered, or something has us hindered. But you know, going to those thymus spots can really release us quickly. Thank you. Wow.
I can't say thank you enough. I really want everybody to know it is going down tonight. If you could see like hard right down over here what I got going on, it's about to be some oils that I'm gonna, you know, rub like into the thymus area, and then I got my other oil, got some grapeseed oil in there, and then I'm gonna like double up on it, because then I got my essential oils, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put some Star of Bethlehem under the tongue. I'm going in. I am going in. You're not ready for the transformation.
Oh, this is a party. That sounds like a party for real. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a party for your soul.
Exactly.
Is it my birthday?
It's your birthday, baby.
It is. Absolutely.
So let me find out that now. Let me find out from Kiana and Kim. Do we have any questions on the other side? Did you see any questions come through? Are people, because this is some pretty amazing things that we're sharing. We're talking about the shadow work, and then we're telling people, look, we can actually support you in confronting that work, or you can support yourself in confronting that work, and you can use these tools. You can use Bach Flower Remedy. You can purchase it yourself online or at the health food store, and you can do EFT. Yes. Now, you know, there's EFT videos out there in Masterforce. You know, next year we're going to create our own. So that's truly awesome. What we're going to commit to, because this is some deep release.
Yes. Awesome. Mood, if you don't mind, I also want to introduce crystals and stones as a part of shadow work. I have right here my lovely friend, the obsidian. Okay, we both have obsidian here, and that obsidian absorbs my shadow energy, so that, you know, once I can meditate with it. For some people, this might be a little advanced. They can scry, which means they can stare and meditate, and that shadow reflection comes back to them, and it's more with love rather than blame or any of the darker, lower spectrum of emotions towards fear. It houses that and gives you the space to work through your stuff. So, you know, I would invite shadow reflection from crystals. You all right over there?
We heard the echo.
some crystals, some stones. Let that be a part of your work, especially rose quartz and obsidian together really creates a unique space for you to do the work that you got to do. So, you know.
I'm grateful you saying that. I want to share something with everyone. Timothy, the advanced technique that you mentioned is so powerful for us in so many ways. I turned my camera off so that I could run and get another something that I wanted to share. I too have my crystals with me. These ones are my clear quartz crystals that are sitting right here. They sit on my computer to neutralize the energy to be coming off while I be doing my work on Facebook and everything like that, right? So those sit there all the time. And this is a crystal that is used for meditation, and it's also used with women for healing too, because that is also some of the work that I do. I love how oh look, Jaquay holding up hers. I love how we take all these twists and turns inside of all of this work that we're doing, because of the work that I've been doing with the yoni eggs, these stones. There's been so much that I've been able to nurture, support, heal, and balance inside of my own personal space in the energy first of the divine feminine and grounding that, and then also now that makes room for the divine masculine to be a part of myself too. So Timothy, you are like so on point for bringing up the crystals, because again, just like we talk about how the plant kingdom is here to support us, the mineral kingdom is also here to support us, and that's where these beautiful stones come from. And I have more than a dozen eggs. How funny is that, right? I have loads and loads of all different kinds, because when you look at the different colors and the striations that form inside of each of the crystals, all of that is different mineral content, and it has taken time and pressure and sunlight and water and fossils and thousands of years to compress that into the form of crystallization. So this is from time immemorial. We are literally looking at prehistoric love light energy from the universe that gives us the support that we need inside of ourselves to do this magnificent work that we get an opportunity to do. You know, and so this again, all of the energies that we're speaking about are for supporting our avatar. I like to call my body my avatar, because some years ago I downloaded and created a process called the Avatar Maintenance Program. And so our avatar is this beautiful thing that we get to carry around. We call it our body. And then inside of our body is where we really are. So the thing that you're looking at, that you're saying, happy birthday, Icha Debbie, this actually is my avatar. So I just wanted to put that in the space. Icha Debbie, what you talking about your avatar? That's what I am sharing about. Yeah.
So we have two questions.
Yeah.
And the first question is okay. I see you, and we have 7 minutes. So the first question is, how do we engage our clients to do the shadow work?
Okay. Well, I would say just take it very, very slow. Okay. Don't expect the shadow to come out and play in the first 45 minutes to an hour of your session, because you got to get a little history to go along with that. Again, take them through the process of what keeps repeating in their life that they don't want, and then open the door to that which they are embarrassed and ashamed of. I always ask, tell me right now, you know, they give me this elaborate story of how good they are and what they want to do in life, and I ask them clearly, okay, I hear that, but tell me right now, what the number one thing you don't like about yourself or don't love about yourself? Tell me something that you really hate about yourself. And, you know, there's tension with that. So you have to invite them, and once they begin to tell you, well, I really don't like this, I really don't like that, and you know, it may not even start there. They may bring up somebody else. Well, you know, I don't like my mother. I don't like John over here. You know, all of those are signals that you can gradually invite and once again romance and court the shadow to it's okay to come out and play and show me who you are at this moment. The space is safe for that. So create a safe space that is a nurturing space that will allow the shadow and all of the thoughts behind it to come forth.
Before you even try to do that, though, before you can engage shadow work with your clients, you must first experience engaging your own shadow. So I would recommend first working with a practitioner, take you on through your own shadow working process, because the truth of the matter is until you went through the process of engaging your own shadow, you won't know how to navigate and properly handle their shadow showing up. Because a lot of times, I'm telling you, when you're dealing with shadow work with people get pissed off. They really, really do. And unless you went through your own process of working with a practitioner to help you engage your own shadow, you won't have the compassion or patience to deal with their reaction when you touch something. You know, that's why on our Facebook page I always post, if it wasn't for Moo and Icha, because one thing I'll say, I know Timothy and I, we a lot of fire over here, and when they touch our shadows, honey, we show out. We will. And for some reason,
did you ask me to leave your house one time?
I did. I was mad. I was
I'm down in Memphis, Tennessee, and you go.
No, what I said was,
it goes down with these two.
I said I want to hit you, you know, and even when
hell high, it goes down with them.
Right. Even working with Isha, I remember telling her, I said, Isha, I want to apologize to you in advance because I'm acting fool. I'm gonna act a fool. And she was like, okay. And then it happened. I was like, I'm sorry. She said, oh, baby, you already told me who you was before we got started. So you're going to have to work with a practitioner. Let them walk you through the process of dealing with your shadows so you can see your reactions. You can see the anger. You can see all the places that you go through so that when you work with your clients, you can be patient and say, I understand.
I can say this. Not every coach can be a shadow coach.
No.
Okay? It's not for everybody. I promise you it's not. And I'm not saying that to boost us up. I'm just saying everybody is not built. Yeah, you're not created or built for that. You may be for something else, a little more nurturing until you do your own work, but everybody's not called for this. It's a special calling, and I'm so happy to be connected to each and all of you who are connected to that calling, because I know it's not for everybody. And I'm going to say this, every time you guys invite us to do a segment on this show, I'm so happy and excited, but then I am extremely nervous because I know I'm going to go through something that week. I know I'm going to go through something.
Right?
Yeah, I already told John. I ain't confused about it. Didn't I say it?
Yes. It opens up. We open a portal. A whole portal opens up for all of us. I get it too, Timothy.
I'm telling you, it's all. I know it's going to be a work, and it went down to the last minute. And I said, okay, everything's going good. This is going to be a great show. And then
night before,
a couple days ago, night before, man, you already know. But
hand held high, baby. Yes, I do. Hand held high.
I am secure enough in my own shadow that I'm not insecure to tell you, okay, I need somebody to observe the little boy when he wants to play. Okay, so I thank each and every one of you for creating the space and making it safe for us to be engaged in this shadow as well as be practitioners. She's hitting me on the leg. We must be running out of time. So
then the second question was, how then do you engage your client? How do we engage our clients to use EFT? Okay. You know, how do we introduce that in? And
well,
then
how I introduce that, I normally introduce EFT the second session we have with them. And what I do to make it easy for me is the Brad Yates videos. I send them an introduction. I send them a link to explaining what it is and why it's purposeful, and then I send them a video that touch exactly with what they're dealing with. So if I have a client that's dealing with rejection, I go find the rejection one, and I email them the link, and I tell them to walk through it. And they can do it on their own at home. That's how I do that. And also, it's a great video called Try It on Everything. If you've never done it, get that video, try it on everything, and that'll help you with that.
Nine times out of 10, they're coming to you already pissed off about something.
Yep.
Use it right then.
Yeah.
So, okay, give me a scale, whatever, 10 to 1, 10 being the highest and most intense. And once they go through the process and you can get it down to a 2 or a 3, they'll use it for the rest of their lives.
All right.
Very cool. So just real quick, I want to find out. Every night we've been asking people, asking the coaches, do you have any gift that you would like to share with the audience? What is the gift, and how can they retrieve it?
Okay. So our gift, we do have a gift. We just completed our first ebook. And yay! So our ebook is called, we created a program called Resolution. And Resolution, it stands for Radical Empowerment Through Self-Transformation. And we put it together because, as we all know, a lot of people celebrate the traditional New Year's. So one of the things we did was we sat down and said, what keeps people from keeping their resolutions to themselves?
Yes.
So we created a program called Resolution, how to make your New Year's resolution and keep it.
Yes.
And we're going to give that ebook out free to our MFC audience. All they have to do is email us at contact@irrelevantministry and type in there MFC sent me, and we will send you our free ebook.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now I was going to say, we will put that email address in the fan page.
Right.
So you can find it. Okay, go ahead.
And I just want to say it's an evergreen product. Although it's created for New Year's, it's really anytime you want to start a project, you have a goal, and you want to get out of your own way, you can pull it out in January, you can pull it out in July, you can pull it out any time of the year and follow those steps.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. I'd like you to ship my copy out, mail my copy when we get off this phone.
Yes.
If nothing else, so I can share it, right?
Right.
I just love reading. I love the fact that you guys have created that. And then do you have a giveaway for us tonight?
Yes, absolutely. I would like to clearly articulate that I am very present to that I am the gift. And even inside of that I am the gift, I have an offering that I want to share. Some of the work that I do is inside of the plant kingdom a different way. So I would like to actually combine the two. So people will have an opportunity to have a 15-minute session with me. And so I will email them a few questions, and then they email me the answers, and I'll be able to create a protocol for them that has to do with the essential oils and the Bach flower essences. And then they can use those together to support themselves. And I have a couple of beautiful PDFs that show all of the essences themselves so that they can start to get into that intimacy with themselves. So they can email me at ampspring2014@gmail.com and let me know that, like, I love how she said MFC sent me, and I want your gift. I want to gift, right? and I'll be happy to go ahead and get that questionnaire out to them so that we can start that work together.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then just really quickly, do you guys have any events, courses, classes? Where can people see you? Can people sign up and do something with you? Really, I mean, people are going to want to engage. How do they get a session with you? How do they find out? How do they learn EFT from you if that's what they want to do? I mean, really, how do people interact?
Okay. So what we have coming up is this Friday. We would love for our MFC family to support us. Is we will be featured on Black Biz Scope on Periscope.
Ooh.
So at 5:45 Central Standard Time, we're going to be on there, and we're going to be unveiling our program. We spoke about Resolution for the ebook, but we actually created an entire program around that in which we're offering 6 30-minute sessions and 4 15-minute accountability sessions with us, and it's we're going to be unveiling that on this Friday.
Yes.
So we would like for you all to follow us on Periscope at AR on Light and get on there and support us with that.
What time is
Yeah.
5:45 Central Standard Time. If you want to book a session with us, we're also going to offer at we're doing a really deep special for that Friday. So you really want to tune into that because we really want to coach you to whatever you have plans for your next year. But if you want to contact us, I created this because it is easy. And it is our little things, irrelevantministry.com. You go there and you can sign up with us to get sessions with us. We can walk you through whatever changes you are going through. And again, you can email us at contact@irrelevantministry if you have any questions. And also follow at Black Bleed Scope so you can see us on there as well.
So can you take a picture of that and then we can post it in the actual group, and that way people, although they'll be able to replay this, but then they can also know that we will have it for them on the fan page.
Okay.
Do you have anything coming up where people can engage with you in down in Chicago?
Absolutely. I love the technology that we work in that are called the Love and Destiny cards. And so you heard me speak about it just a little bit earlier, saying that I am a two of clubs, and one of my greatest gifts is that, I am the conversation card. So I've been studying this system for several years, and I have a beautiful comprehensive report that you could purchase from me for a really deep discount. And inside of the group, I'll share the link to that. And so the actual reading itself is so comprehensive that literally you could plan your entire year from that reading because it's just that extensive. And there's another reading that you could purchase that does that work with yourself and with another person. So if you wanted to know, how am I connected to my new business partner? Me and Shemsu-t want to create a business together. Let me go to Isha and get this reading and see, how do we work together? What is our energy like together? Are we better for things that we think about? Or is Shemsu-t the person that will really catapult me as far as abundance, with finance? So one of the things that Shemsu-t and I know about each other is that since I am connected with her, we have a lot of kinetic energy. So if you give us a project, we will get it done with immediacy, if not sooner, right? Yeah. And when we are not doing that work, that could look like conflict. So it reminds us that we always either need to be doing something physical together or creating something together. That's the wisdom that's inside of these readings that I'm doing. So you can get them and read them yourself, or you can purchase impact coaching sessions with me, again, for a deep discount. So I'll share the link with that, and it'll be on the group. And then you can go in there, click it, and purchase it. And then you'll be able to schedule a time frame with me if you want to do impact coaching, and we can do that.
Yay! Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't believe that 2 hours has gone already. Oh my God, could we just sit here with each other even longer? So I can see that we're going to have to do something regularly. We cannot do this once a year. Are you guys feeling that too? Yeah, we have to do something. We're going to create something. I love that. I love how this feels. I love how you guys feel. Every time we spoke, I saw another segment. The crystals, just even using the Bach flower remedy in specific situations, using the EFT in specific situations. I mean, that's something that we can create in another type of series. So we'll work on that too. And so let me first of all acknowledge you guys for the time. Not just these 2 hours, because it takes more than that for you to prepare for this, and I don't take it lightly that you've allowed yourself to participate and that you continue to do it. And I want to say thank you on behalf of all of your clients and all of the community and the people that you touch, and I just want you to feel that your love is so needed and valued. Right where it is, your love, and I'm saying that to all of the Master Force coaches, but it's specifically to Timothy, Jaquay, and Icha. It's so valued, and the world, my world, would be a completely different existence without you. So I am so glad that you're here. I'm glad that we're in this together. and you continue to have me go higher. That's for sure. You know. So thank you. And I want to thank the team on the other side, Kiana, Kim, Alanda. Thank you so much, Lady Reese, for the work that you do in getting this production done. And then you guys, I'll give you 30 seconds each for your final words on this year's Ignite Your Soul Connection.
Well, again, thank you for having us, creating this space for us to discuss what we do. I'm so grateful for that, for all that you and each and Master Force all together. I am so happy for y'all. Thankful that y'all are in our space. Continue to send us energy. Again, this work is not an easy work.
No.
Because every client I have to deal with I have to go deeper within my own self to work through my own stuff and she has to work through her stuff. It's not easy, but we chose it for a reason, and I'm glad we did, because I feel more awake now that I know how to deal with my shadow and not live in a world of shame and guilt and embarrassment. I can be me now, and I understand that shadow is here to take me higher, and I'm willing to go. So I thank y'all for that.
Right.
You're welcome.
I'm just honored, Moot, to just be in your presence. I miss you so much. I can't wait to see you again. And you have blessed us, both of you. MFC have been such a blessing to us and such a sacred space for us. And we really, really enjoy being in your presence and the connection. And we honor you for creating this space to give back. This is the holy days, and we're able to give. And we thank you for allowing us to participate in it. And we love you. Much love.
Definitely.
Thank you. And the rest of you, please. Oh, Icha, go ahead. You got to say, did you say goodbye yet?
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't say goodbye. What I would share is that I'm so grateful. Years ago, I created an affirmation in 2000 that I am a safe haven of love, and I am so grateful that you all are that for me, and that you all give me an opportunity to share my gift. One of the things is that if you are a conversation in the universe, there is no conversation unless you have someone that will listen. So I'm so grateful for you all for allowing me to speak and say what is so for me. I love each of you very much, and those that are observing this broadcast now and into the immeasurable future.
Yes. And tomorrow night, Thursday night, we have 4 amazing Master Force coaches, and we're talking about Reiki, music, and relaxation. So join us with Alanda, Teresa, Aaron, and Shanima. We're going to be on here live, and it's going to be jumping. So come back with us tomorrow night, and thank you. Thank you for your time. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Peace.